Hi guys, I have some pretty good news to share with you guys. I got hired at Sephora and I'm so excited. I got the news last week, so let me just rewind and tell you guys a little bit about the journey I went through and then just up to now, I guess. So a little bit about me and my makeup experience. I don't want to say aspiring anymore because that kind of like disrespects my work. I've put a lot of work and money into my kit and just into my skills in general, so I want to actually say that I am a makeup artist. Anybody can be a makeup artist. I don't like those snobby people who are like, oh, don't call yourself a makeup artist if you don't do this and if you don't do that. You don't tell me, or you don't get to tell anybody what they are, who they are, or what they want to be, or what they can be. That's very rude. And I believe that anybody can be a makeup artist. If you have skills, if you have the talent, if you want to learn and you're working towards becoming a makeup artist, even if you're not certified, like, I mean, if you have a little portfolio going on, girl, you're a makeup artist. Anybody can be a makeup artist. So I just want to point that out there because I do see some videos and in the past that have actually discouraged me when I was younger, and I'd be like, oh, I can't be a makeup artist because I don't do that, what she's doing, and it's just like very wrong. So I just want to sit here and tell you guys that you can be anything you want to be. Just like get a portfolio going and get a little kit. I can make up a video and show you guys like what foundations you really need. I just went to the store and I can tell you guys the foundations that I use. I only have 4 foundations and they pretty much match anybody, and these are it. They're from Makeup Forever. It's the Ultra HD brand from Makeup Forever. They are a lifesaver. Literally everybody compliments me when I'm doing their makeup, or people who are watching me do makeup on my clients. They're like, it looks just like their skin, and I'm like, I know, it's so amazing. Enough about that. So I started doing makeup more seriously in 2010, and up to now it's 2015, and people ask me if I went to school for it or if I'm self-taught, and I want to say that I did go to school for it. I went to Kamua Makeup Academy, and I learned a lot. I got to learn how to sanitize everything, how to properly just apply certain things like eyeshadow. So I did learn a few things from my school, but overall I have been self-taught and doing just like what you guys are doing, and just going on YouTube and watching videos, and it's just practice, and that's about it. On to getting my job at Sephora. Last week, or it was about almost 2 weeks ago now, I was up all night because I started cosmetology school at Paul Mitchell, and I was in the 5-day program, and I was just stuck. Like, I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't do gigs because I was in school all the time, so I couldn't get a job or anything, and I was just going crazy because I didn't have money of my own. I'm surviving off of my parents' money, and you know, that gets kind of old, asking mom and dad for money, because at the same time they look at you like I don't know, like, my parents are really helpful and everything, but you just want to have your own money. Like, I'm 22 years old and it's not okay to not have a job, but it's not because I don't want to have a job, it's because I couldn't have a job. I got fired because I started school, and even though they don't want to admit it, that's another story. Yeah, they basically fired me because I told them I was starting school, so I was like, crap. And then my parents kind of calmed me down, and they were like, you know what, we got you, like, we're gonna support you, just go to school, just focus and get good grades and like graduate in a year and you're good, we'll support you. And I was like, okay, but you know, a girl's gotta go shopping. I need money to pay my car note and everything, so I need to get my own money. So my first thought was to get into applying at restaurants because I know I'll get hired at fast food or sit down restaurants or whatever, because I have a lot of experience in that. But then I started thinking, like, that's not gonna help me in my future career. I'm not gonna gain any skills besides just dealing with moody people that are hungry. So I just got sad, and I was just like at nighttime I was just looking at jobs, and I said, let me just apply at Mac. And then I saw that there was a job fair for Mac, so I went and did that. And then I did apply at a Buffalo Wild Wings. So 2 weeks ago, I had interviews all week long. I had 2 Mac interviews, and then I had a Buffalo Wild Wings interview, and then I had a Sephora interview, but it wasn't intended, it just happened. So on Tuesday, I had my first Mac interview, and then I got scheduled for a second Mac interview on that Friday. Yeah, so Tuesday was my Mac interview. Wednesday was my Buffalo Wild Wings interview, and then I left school early, and while I was on my way to Buffalo Wild Wings, I was just like, dude, you're not gonna like this, just don't go, don't go, don't go. And it's right next to the mall where Sephora is, so I was just like, you're all decked out, just go to Sephora, like, walk in there like you know what you're doing, go in there and just, you know, ask for a manager, don't take no for an answer. So I was all cute, and I went in there with my Candy Yum Yum lips from MAC. So I walked in there, and I just totally bailed on Buffalo Wild Wings, because I was like, no, I got this. I'm gonna get a makeup job. I'm not gonna work at a restaurant. So I walked into Sephora, and I had my resume and my portfolio in my hand in a folder. And then I walked up to the counter and I said, hi, my name is Brianna. Can I speak with the hiring manager, please? And then the hiring manager was actually behind the girl at the register, and the hiring manager came around the register and she was like, hi, like, nice to meet you. And I was like, hi. And I just was kind of caught off guard because I didn't think she was gonna like come right there, right in front of me. So I had like 0 time to like calm down. So I was just already with a smile on my face, and I said, hi, my name is Brianna, and I'm here to, what did I say? I said, my name is Brianna. I applied online, and I wanted to hand in my resume and see if you guys were actually hiring, or somewhere along the lines. So yeah. And then she was like, oh, we're actually hiring right now. That's a good thing you came in. And I was like, awesome. And then she was like, what did you apply under? I said, I am willing to start as a cashier or anywhere just to get my foot in the door. And she was just like, have you thought about being a color in the color world? Or I don't remember what she called it, but basically in the makeup area. And I said, yeah, I actually have, but you know, I'm just willing to work in any position. And then she was like, okay, well, let me look at your resume. And she looked over the resume and she said, do you have a couple minutes to come back with me and do a small interview? And I said, yeah, I do. So we went in the back, and while we were walking, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. So then we went into her office, and then she gave me right off the bat like a quick interview. She's like, why do you want to work here? And I said basically why. I really don't remember, just like words came out of my mouth, but it sounded good, so I was like, okay, that's good. And she seemed to like it. So and then she asked me, have I had experience with makeup? And I said, no, I've actually only had retail experience with clothing, not makeup, but I'm willing to learn anything that I can. I'm a quick learner and whatnot. I think that's what I said. And then she was like, okay, well, I don't remember what exactly she said, but basically she said she wanted to hire me for the makeup position. And I said, okay. And she said, well, first we need to do a demo, so can you come back around 4? And I said yes. So I came back around 4, and then there was a girl that was there, and she was a different she was in charge of the makeup area, and she said, I'm going to be interviewing you today for the demo. So I went in, and during my demo I had to color match one of the clients, and then we used the little color swatch machine that they have. So that was really cool. And then I had to do like the prepping the skin, applying the makeup, applying bronzer, and then a blush, and that was it. and then she wanted to see how I did and how I interacted and whatnot. So as soon as the customer came in, the client sat down. I introduced myself to her, and I said, what did you come in for today, what was like, or something like that. And then she told me that she was looking for a new foundation. And I said, okay, great. Lady that interviewed me, she had already placed out like the prepping stuff for the skin. So I had to just like, in a couple seconds, read over the ingredients and tell the customer what I was using. And so yeah, I was just like, oh, this has like grapeseed in it, and it's really good for this and this and that. And then I had to apply it on, and while I was doing that, I was giving her tips. I was letting her feel the product in her hand, and the girl that was interviewing me, she was like writing down notes, and I could see her in the corner of my eye like writing down stuff. And then I was like, okay, good, like maybe she's writing down good things. And then when it got down to like the end of the demo, I was giving the customer some tips like, hey, if you do this, you get this. If you put highlighter up here, it brings out your cheekbones. So do you want to try highlighter? And she was like, of course, like I've never done that before. I've always seen it on like people, but I don't know how to do it on myself. So I was like, okay, great, let's try that. So I got a brush, and I said, well, you need a certain type of brush. So this is the brush that we have. So we can apply it on top of your cheekbones, and make sure that it's on like right here. Don't go too low because it can bring out your pores, and you don't want that. And she was like, oh, I never knew that. And then there was my interview lady like writing down more notes, and I was like, okay, good, like hopefully this is good. And then when that was over, we sold a couple products that we had used on her, so that was really good. And then I was just like, whew, like I can breathe. And then the girl that was interviewing me was like, okay, well that was really, really good. I really liked it and stuff. She's like, I wrote down pros and cons and whatnot. And so let's go on the pros. She's like, you had a lot of great tips. You're really informative. You know a lot about what you're talking about. And I said, okay, that's cool. And she's like, your cons are that you can be a little bit timid, like don't be afraid to put the brush on their face and just like smooth it out. And then she said to talk more about their personal lives, like not so much about the product, because she said that she loved that I talked about the product, but she's like, also make them feel more comfortable, like ease them into like, how are you doing today? Do you have any special events going on this weekend? Or like, you know, talk about them, because that makes them relax more in the chair instead of being sold and thrown things at them. So I was like, that's good information, thank you. And she's like, but other than that, I loved it. I just want to give you a second demo interview. And I was just like, okay. And she was like, can you stay in a little bit longer? And I was like, yeah. So she's like, wait here. And then she went and grabbed another girl, and I was like, oh my gosh, 2 demos? Like, I didn't expect this all in one day. This was all in one day. I had walked in there around 12 at lunch, and then it was already like going on to 5. So I was just waiting around for these Sephora interviews all day long. And I felt good about it though, so I was just like all like confident, and I was just like, I got this, I got this. So then the second girl came, and then she was just like, she wanted another foundation as well. And then I did the same thing. I talked about what she was doing. She told me her mom's birthday was that day, and I said, oh great, like what are you guys gonna do today? And I was applying her makeup, and then I did the same thing. I did a tutorial, like I gave her a small tutorial on like how to do certain things. And she really liked us. I felt more comfortable, so I was like more talkative. I felt more like a real person, like one-on-one, not just like a salesperson on someone else. I don't know, it's just, yeah. So it felt more natural. And then when I was done, the interview lady was like, oh my gosh, like I really love that you took into consideration of what I said. And she gave me a high five, and she was like, I think you did awesome. Your placement of everything was really good. And I was like, awesome. So we're just laughing. She was kind of like my age. I don't know why I keep calling her a lady. And I was just really comfortable with her, and she was really nice, so I was excited that I got her. And then she was like, okay, can I have your resume, your references? And I said, okay. So in the top of my head, I couldn't really think of people that I like really worked with because all my contacts on my phone are pretty much gone because I got a new phone. So I was just like, who do I trust right now? So I just thought of the people that I talk to on a normal basis, like every day as of right now, and that's the people that I go to school with. So I put down my instructor, and this one girl that I talked to, she knows a lot about makeup. She's really nice. So she was like, okay, thank you. We should be calling you by tomorrow, if anything. And congratulations, like you did good. So we look forward to seeing you again. And I left and I was just so confident that I got the job. As soon as I got home, which was like maybe 20 minutes later, the girl from my school, my friend, calls me and she's like, hey, Sephora called me. And then I was like, oh my gosh, great. She's like, oh, sorry, I missed their call. I was like, okay. So I left it at that. And then the next day, she never really talked about it. And then the following day, like, I asked her if she had called, and then she said no. And I was just like, like, Sephora hasn't called me back and she hasn't called them back. And I asked my instructor if they had called her. And it was really dumb of me just to put people that I just met. I didn't want to push this friend of mine from school to call, so I asked her again. She said no, she hasn't called them back, and I was like, oh yeah, like, what am I gonna do? So I freaked out over the weekend. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this job cannot go to waste, like, it cannot fall through my hands. I need to go in and talk to them. So I made up a quick resume list, and I gave 3 people that I have worked with and that have known me for a long time. And yeah, so I walked into Sephora and I was like, hi, I was here last Wednesday and I had my demo interview, and one of my references did say that you had called her back, but she hasn't been able to call you back because she has like a really busy schedule, and she apologized and whatnot. So I just wanted to come in and give you a new list of references. And they were like, okay, well, come back into the office with us. And I was so happy because I was like, oh, hopefully they do not just tell me to go away and, oh well, like, your references didn't call us back, so we forgot about you. And that was my main fear. So I went in the back, and then she said, we actually had your file ready to call you back soon. Thank you for coming in today. Like, this is a perfect timing. I'm actually available to talk to you. And I said, awesome. So she said, they said they really loved your demo interview. I said, thank you. And she's like, would you like to accept our offer to join our team? And I said, yes. And I was just like in heaven after that. And yeah, so I got hired, and ever since then I've just been like so happy about it. I'm just so happy I went in and walked in, because if I didn't, who knows if they would have called me. So lesson learned, you need to be assertive and don't give up. If you haven't already like clicked off this video, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more about my Sephora journey and whatnot, leave me a comment and tell me what you want to know, or if you want me to do product reviews, I don't know. Leave a comment below. And alright, well, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.